Welcome, ranchers. Greetings, and I hope that you have already had a wonderful day. We're spending the month of April and into May learning why mindfulness and mindful living can actually transform us from the inside out. How we can change through a mindful lifestyle down deep. We're looking at 5 insights that I gathered from many different research articles and different experiences and interviews from people who have adopted a mindful lifestyle, as far as what they believed was the most insightful things that have changed in their lives, and of course compared that to the things that I've experienced in my life also. Last week I shared, you realize that you are not your thoughts. A big one for me. I mean, when I realized that the things I thought about myself, like you're not a very good friend, was the example that I gave. Your thoughts are just fleeting images. They are not necessarily true, but over time, you have developed this habituation where you really believe that your thoughts are who you are, and they're not. And a mindful lifestyle can help you distinguish between those. We also talked about don't sweat the small stuff. You know, sometimes in life we feel like everything is big stuff. And when you pause and you slow down, you realize, no, there's really those big things that you really need to have some stress over, and natural stress because we're human. But there's so many things that we need to acknowledge and just let go like passing clouds and not sweat it at all. So today we'll add 2 more insights into why I believe mindful living is transformational on the inside. By living a mindful lifestyle, number 3, you'll appreciate things more. You see, mindfulness is all about the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind, as you recall, is like the mind of a child, evoking curiosity in what you see or experience, even if what you're seeing is very familiar to you. You know, the other day I actually saw a dandelion. I couldn't believe it. A dandelion was actually blooming close to a post on the road. And I thought, wow, that thing's out there all by itself already. Isn't it a little soon? But then my mind went to, I don't know, when I was a little girl, you know, I thought they were the most beautiful things that ever were, so bright and pretty, and I would always pick a nice bouquet to give to my mom, and I just thought, wow, this is the best gift. I used to do that over and over again, and she got those bouquets over and over again. I wonder how she looked at them each time. Was it just, yep, here's that bouquet of flowers, dandelion weeds from Marcia? I didn't get that impression. I got the impression that each one was a magnificent bouquet and arrangement of the most beautiful flowers in the world. From my perspective, I think my mom was looking at my bouquet of dandelions with a beginner's mind, saying that this is the first time my daughter's giving this to me. You know, I also like to play board games. And Candyland was one of the ones I really liked, along with Chutes and Ladders, I have to admit. But Candyland just a little bit more. And we might have played it, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of times. But if your child comes up to you and asks you to play Candyland today, you can either look at it as, oh no, not that game again, or you've never played Candyland on this day, at this time, with this child. That's never happened before, right now at the present. It is going to be a little bit different, or a whole lot different than what was done yesterday or the day before or the day before that with that child. That presence of appreciating it at this moment. Because when we pay attention, we see beauty where we might not have noticed it before. We can see growth and transformation and often change where before we might have even seen it as stagnation. North Dakota springtime's the perfect avenue to get outside and be mindful and appreciate the changing seasons from dormancy to new life. It literally is transformation. So here's an activity you might want to try. Have you ever noticed, really noticed, how many different greens the color green there are during springtime. See, I love the color green. And for some reason, since I was a small child, as long as I can remember, I was fascinated by springtime greening. I'm not even sure that's a word, but that's what I'm going to describe it right now. I would just spend a lot of time noticing, for example, the canopy of trees and how the green and the leaves that were coming out were different, especially in the springtime between the different types and species of trees. Or I'd notice the ground even, that different grasses or where weeds grew, what we called weeds, like my dandelions, there were different shades and tones of green. It truly tickled me to notice that, and I would be in awe, even though every spring I would go through this process. I was being present and appreciating the colors of green. So if this sounds appealing to you, have a try and see if you can be curious about the colors of green in our North Dakota spring transformation. Our fourth insight is you'll develop a greater compassion. The more aware we are of our present moment, the more we can tune into what others are experiencing, their joy and their pain. You see, it's not all about us and what we're trying to deal with. We become, from the inside out, more aware that we're more alike than we are different. And it generates compassion, which we could describe it as a true desire that all creatures be free of suffering. We act to help others, not because we know we should or because that's what we've been told to do. No, we help others because we're aware that their pain is our pain, and somehow together it'll be better. Our awareness becomes that compassionate engagement with life. Ranchers, mindful living can provide these two beautiful insights into your life: appreciation and compassion. My desire for you is to experience both in a different way this week and more fully through the adoption of mindful practice. And so until next time, I don't know that I've said this very recently. Remember to pause because you are so worth it.